I'm not even going to try to pretend like I didn't watch this without you guys. Because I did. Because I may have thought, oh, come on, all right. I know some people are going to be pretty happy about that, but renting? Yeah, thanks. Story of my life. I would love to have a cabin in the mountains, but I think as a millennial, I am locked into renting for more or less forever. Do I really want to play with something that has to do with rent? I mean, it feels weird to think about being a landlord. I don't know if I like that. So I was just gonna kind of glance at this, roll my eyes, and move on, and maybe just get back to trying to go ahead and breed all of the foals that I'm supposed to be breeding in our Ranch to Riches challenge. Then the architecture caught my eyes, and then, I don't know, maybe there might be something fun to do here. And then I found the most important part. Yeah, the most important part. I'm not even gonna joke. I'm not even gonna pretend that I haven't found the most important part of this entire pack. And it's right here. It's the fact that I may just be about to kill my Sims. I may finally allow them death. Why? Well, you know, feeding them to cow plants, that's kind of weird. We keep Betsy with us. But there are many interesting deaths one may have in The Sims 4. I have not allowed my Sims to explore these possibilities. Until now. Until now, when I need to prove all of you that my passions for mycology run deep enough that I just might let some of my Sims become fungi indeed. Look at that, oh my gosh. Look at this is ridiculous. I can't believe it. It's so creative. I know that sounds, look at all the spores that spread everywhere. It is like we have the mother plant on some sort of like just absolute speed grow ability. This is so cool. I actually cannot think of a cooler death in The Sims 4 right now. Old age, laughter, you just kind of fall over. Sure, whatever. Drowning, that one's kind of just like a little, I mean, come on. If you've played Sims 1 to, like I have, all the way to Sims 2, 3, and 4, you've seen enough drowning. The fire, meh. And then, you know, like cow plant gets a little more interesting. I think that you can actually drown by mermaid, but that's just kind of drowning with the fancy fish involved. Then, you know, getting hit by a meteoroid. That was one of the newest deaths they added, you know, with the patch and the single tile telescope and that extremely overexciting night that I had in our Ranch to Riches legacy. And then this one. I can't think of a cooler way for my Sims to die than by being taken over by mushrooms. I cannot imagine the gameplay possibilities of having things like the mother plant from the Strangerville pack, and now these mushroom spores spread about. I have my little mind is just like brain beans are bouncing around like jumping beans, trying to figure out how we might have outbreaks of chaos throughout my Sims worlds. Like, what if you have a mushroom outbreak? What if, like, you don't clean your place enough and so it drops down to being dusty because of the Bust of Dust pack that everyone seems to hate, but I love, and I will, like, stand by my dust bunnies for the rest of my life. Thank you very much. I love that idea. I love this. This is so cool. Name a cooler death than The Sims 4. Like, literally, actually. It's not even really a challenge because I don't really let my Sims die, so I'm not sure how they can die off the top of my head in every single way. Elevator also, I'm not even going near elevator. I already have like a phobia, almost level fear of escalators and elevators and being in an elevator when it drops. So we're not talking about that one. But mushroom death? Mushroom death? I don't know how I'm gonna handle this, but I do know it's going to be amazing. It might make all of my little nature ecology Sims some of the most important people in all of their little Sim regions. Though I suppose, speaking of the Sim regions, we shall also go and glance over what is going to be in The Sims 4 for Rent expansion pack, just together, just real fast. I've already perused quite a bit of the updates that the Sims team have been putting out in their official like little pages for the new For Rent pack. I'm really glad to see that they once again worked with somebody who has some roots and some involvement with the area of the world, this time Southeast Asia, which is very exciting, that they are actually trying to base a lot of the new architecture and a lot of the new items, like the squat potty that you guys saw her cleaning or not cleaning, ergo the mushrooms. And there's going to be like a little night market scene. There's going to be quite a few new foods. I saw a rice cooker at one point. And as you can see right now, there's quite a few new decorative items. Oh my gosh, that even the fire hydrant is a different shape. And I love seeing the trees and the plants the way that they are, because it just takes me immediately back to when Chips and I lived in Taiwan, just having more tropical plants all over the place. I like that there's going to be somewhere to swim. This boat, I have to admit, when I saw it, I burst out laughing because maybe we could scale up the textures just a little bit on it, because I thought it was like one of my nephew's little toy boats. Like, that just took me aback, just saying. Oh yeah, and you know, speaking of nephews and things for kids, I am pretty excited to know that there's going to be hopscotch for the kids, and there's also going to be a marble game that they can play with, which is very exciting to hear. Is there going to be a new dance? I think there's going to be a new radio station as well. And I wish I could tell you if those palm trees in the background back here are new. Probably, but even for I, the plant lover of The Sims, there's a lot of plants to keep track of now, just saying. I do love the hopscotch because that'll just be really fun to watch the kids do, and I like seeing that there's a couple different variants of it. What it makes me a little surprised and thoughtful about and hopeful of is there's a marble game for kids now too, right? And the hopscotch is made out of chalk, right? I am hoping, at the very least, well, actually, okay, the most likely outcome is that a modder might take some of the postures and animations for the marble game and make it so that child Sims can draw with chalk on the ground, because that would be really fun. Kind of like, you know, the spray painting you can do on the ground, but just let a kid sit down and like do chalk drawings. That'd be adorable. Speaking of other things that are somewhat adorable, spying on your neighbors. That's why we play Sims. Don't lie. Don't lie. What are you doing all day when you play Sims? You're staring over the shoulder of a little simulated person as they wander through their life. You are watching them while they sleep, while they shower in their mushroom shower, while they die of mushroom death, while they decide what to eat, and then pick up the plate, walk up 3 stories, and decide they're going to sit in the most unobtrusive bed that's shoved in the corner of somewhere and not at the fancy dinner that you have set up for them. And yeah, I love spying on them. I love spying on them, and I love that there is going to be a bunch actually of new aspirations, and I think a couple new traits that you can actually go ahead and do that include having a snooper that snoops around and is up in everybody else's business and kind of side-eyeing what the multi-residential like area is doing. Also, I'm excited to see that there is going to be a very beautiful wall. For once, I actually noticed the walls, which means it must really stand out, which means maybe it already is in the game. And it looks like there's some really nice decorations just to kind of give everything a Southeast Asian tone. And I have to say, between this and between our Snowy Escape pack and between the Sulani, like beautiful pack for Sulani, I am of Hawaiian background, and so it's just really fun to see a lot of things that I'm more familiar with, even peripherally, because my mom's about as white as snow. she's got more Scottish than anything. Actually, she's really Scottish. But anyway, I'm excited to see things that I recognize, even peripherally. And it makes me really happy. It really does. I know people can sometimes get really, really up in arms or just really hot about the idea of representation in different environments. But I've got to tell you guys, it's like when Moana came out, and I was just so happy to see something that felt familiar in a new place. And I hope there's so many of you guys that are feeling like that too. And I'm also excited to see that not all of the age groups have been forgotten, because we've got new clothes for the little toddler. And look at that tiger toy! I'm not the biggest fan of like the bear toy, because maybe I'm just like, oh, teddy bears are so like my childhood ago, and I am very excited to be able to give my Sims kids this tiger because that's adorable. And there's a new teapot. Also, that is some like banging jewelry she is wearing. Also reminds me of like seeing some of the older women when we were in Taiwan. Also, we've got, looks like quite a few meals. They're kind of like abstract art Sims food. I'm not gonna lie. I don't have a problem with that. I'm totally a Simlish foodie. I love being able to like vicariously live through my Sims and eat things like gluten and onion and garlic again and tomatoes. Stupid lupus. That I can't eat anymore through them. And it's just fun. It's colorful. I think it's very natural for people to be drawn to seeing a lot of different foods. And I will admit that Sims allows you a broad interpretation of those foods with somewhat abstract art design. So take what you will from, you know, this. It's almost like we're in an art gallery together and we can just stand side by side while clinking the little boba teas that you can make. I think you can make Thai milk tea, I think is what I saw as like a fun little beverage, especially for the night market. You know, we could clink the glasses and we could all share our interpretations of what the heck this bowl of squares might be. I'm not complaining, just saying, I think it's funny. Oh, all right. So I love that there's already so much of this for me to get distracted by before we even really touch in on the fact that, again, this is apartment complexes. So you're going to have a lot of the neighbors like interact with each other in a different way, it seems, than city living. City living, it just felt like it was an annoying interruption to have like the noisy neighbors thing, because they were abstract. We didn't have a sense of unity. We didn't really have the ability to come in and like actually chill and be like, yo, turn it down to our neighbors. It didn't feel like that. So I'm hoping, especially because there's been a big emphasis on the group things that you can have tenants do in these shared housing areas, in the blog post, I'm hoping there's more interaction between the people who live in the apartments. Apparently there's supposed to be. You're supposed to hold events that can allow people to like go to a garden. You can allow people to go ahead and really enjoy like having a meal together. You're supposed to be able to do parties that you can set up for everybody in the complex, whatever the complex might look like, to be together in. So that might be kind of fun. And actually, I do think it'd be kind of interesting if you played as a property owner with like, what if you played with a cursed household? What if you were the property owner of a cursed, like haunted lot that was full of those little gremlins breaking things all the time? That could be a really fun challenge. Like, think of how cool that would be if you had to run like a rent to riches challenge, but haunted edition, so that you were constantly having to fight up against the ghost. And then what if you even moved in a few angry ghosts and just never controlled them and let them be chaotic? I mean, what happens if you have a ghost as an apartment neighbor? Do they like float through the walls? Whoa, hold up here. I never noticed somebody putting a light into the sky. Hello. And also, I love these colorful lanterns. They're about to show up like everywhere because I love the vibrancy of that a lot more than the naked light bulb thing that was really big on like Instagram many a year ago. I like this more. Look at those cute little colors. And also, she is literally sending a lantern that I hope with everything I have in me is biodegradable. Please. Up into the sky. And this hair, I just noticed too. I love it. But this is an example of what is going to be the night market. And please, for the love of everything, let there be more than one vendor at a time. Please. Brazen Lotus might have to rescue me again with her mods. Oh, cute! More of the artistically interpreted food. Kind of a cute little stall there with like some knickknacks and it looks like some antiques. Let's see. It has a lot of city living vibes like that, but like come on, like on the one hand, that's what you do in a city. Having traveled to many cities, much to my shock, because I am extremely shy and very much prefer being in the mountains, yet somehow I've ended up in like Chicago, San Diego. I don't think, I'm never counting St. Louis. No, you can't make me. I lived there for 7 years. No. But like I've also ended up in Taiwan, like I said. And one of the things that shocked me about traveling like that, London too, is that people are the same everywhere. Like in a good way. They all know what a smile is. They all know what an apologetic, like, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to bump into you wave is. And they all go out to eat at night the same. Like, yes, did the night market kind of look and have the vibes of city living, like going to like eat at the stalls there at night? Yeah. But that's how you eat. So I'm not saying that there shouldn't be like something more original or new. I just can't think of it for how you eat in a city at night. You go to the place, you sit down, you eat. But I can think that something original and fun is breaking and entering. Except I do have questions. Is the only consequence for breaking and entering going ahead and gaining a bad relationship moodlet and maybe a bad reputation with the people who happen to be in the area? Oh, white tiger, cute. Because if the only consequence is just like, oh no, my neighbors are mad at me, I don't know. I mean, I'd break and enter everything then with my Sims because there'd be no punishment for it. However, maybe this is where you have to step in with your own sense of customized gameplay and make an actual prison and then make some sort of law, but then how do you get caught? So I think that the way that you might get caught breaking and entering might be a mechanic for gameplay, like gameplay idea creative people like me and many of you to use the mechanic of getting caught breaking and entering to maybe finally build like a gel. And then you have to go to prison for a while. Maybe you're fined. At the very least, maybe you're kicked out. Or maybe you need to go ahead and do community service, which is quite fun as a gameplay mechanic to make your Sims do. You could maybe even have them have to be, you know, some test subjects for possibly trying to make a cure for these mushrooms. I'm so curious about the degree to which you can fungicize yourself. Because you can have some of the effects of the mother plant without having to actually go full in like hive mind plant alien. Now, what can you do with the fungus? Is there a boost, or is it just like, oh, this isn't good. This isn't good, Chief. You're gonna be dead pretty soon? Because that would be really interesting to see if you could kind of just barely keep the mushroom infection at bay. And if you could do something with those abilities, could you be like part plant sim? Like start harvesting like food from the air and the sun? That'd be interesting too. Also, you may have noticed that I think our Snoop was snopping on swapping some secrets, because, oh, wait just a darn moment here. I didn't see her actually physically swipe anything like a kleptomaniac when she was in their apartments. But did she sneak in to steal gossipy secrets? Because that might actually be a great foundation for a paparazzi challenge. What if you could break and enter into celebrity houses and do kind of like a rant or like a like riches challenge? What would that even be? Like rags? It'd be literally rags, like gossip rags. Like gossip rags to riches, like going around, rumors to riches maybe, and going ahead and having to like figure out how to sneak into celebrities' houses or like the big politicians' houses and steal their secrets and make them pay you. That could be a lot of fun. I like that. Also, I love the way he looks now that he has died of his mushroomness. That's pretty awesome. I wish that mushroom Death Sim Ghost could maybe plant mushrooms when they walk around. Bird of Paradise, one of my husband's favorite flowers in the background, and I love this marble game for the kids. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie, I have zero complaints about that. I actually think it'd be really fun if they could like have a favorite marble out of the jar that they just like take out and carry with them because that's what kids do. But on the whole, you may notice the architecture is interesting. The gameplay mechanic of having a rental area, I don't think really has 100% clicked for me. The world hasn't really like clicked for me. I think I don't get attached to the worlds until I'm in them and can use the tool mod to actually make the darn things functional. But the gameplay possibilities and the slight shift in mechanics that have been potentially added and what kind of stories you can do with a little bit of imagination elbow grease in those mechanics, that has got my attention. Also the mushroom death. I might be having my Sims die now. But let's go ahead and review just a couple other things that I think are quite fascinating from the pack that I have picked up from nosing about places, perhaps practicing my snoop skills. I realized after seeing some people chat about it, this could also be a great mechanic for family gameplay because now you could build a cottage in the back where you could have the grandparents live, or you could have a cousin move in. And that didn't hit me until I saw someone talk about it, but that is such a great idea. A duplex to keep two families close, says this new lot type in town. But what if you don't have a duplex? What if you have a cute little cottage in the back for the grandparents? Or you, actually I saw other people suggesting like renting out a Sims basement to a random renter to try to make a little bit of money, kind of like an Airbnb thing. Except I guess people have been renting private rooms for ages, but you know what I mean. And I just thought that was really interesting too. And that could be a fun way just to have like some of that side hustle income for Sims. Or maybe you could play as like a resort to riches sim where you start with a tiny little cabin, because you can have these lot types in any of the worlds that you have. What if you have a little vacation cabin thing that you allow vacationers to like temporarily move in and like rent, and you try to build up from almost nothing to being able to afford to live in a really great place? Like that could be kind of cool. And then I really love the idea of the closeness that the residential rentals might have, because we're supposed to be able to socialize at potlucks, meet in the garden or other common areas, and have ample opportunity to discover each other's secrets by eavesdropping, snooping, or even breaking and entering. Now, here's another question. How could this mechanic tie in with making dorms more interesting for university? There's a question for you. Or maybe you could start using this mechanic to make something akin to a boarding school, for instance. Don't know how that would work, but it's just an idea. And it is a beautiful new world that I kind of was like, yes, yes, very nice. And then my eyes snapped onto this sentence. Discover an animal sanctuary. Did you see any animals in this whole thing? Like, I didn't even see any pets walking around. Did you see animals? I mean, I guess that's an animal, but it's no longer with us. And I don't think we're gonna go see like a sanctuary with just a bunch of like poor dead fish. I didn't see any animals. Not even a pet. Not even a bird. Ambient bird in the background. I need to know more. What animals? We'll have to find out. And then on the official blog post for the release of the pack, skimming through it, what really once again caught my eyes were they can relax your Sims, for instance, in this new world, can relax in the green haven of the botanical gardens, visit an animal sanctuary, or leave incense and fruit offerings at the spirit house, while child Sims can play hopscotch and marbles in the park. So the incense and fruit offerings at the spirit house seems really nice. It seems like a bit of a variation, obviously, on the snowy retreat offerings. But again, that also matches up culturally, variations between cultures. And then the botanical gardens, I'm side-eyeing that. But I'm again, the animal sanctuary, like what? What is going to go on right there? Also, what kind of secrets can you learn by eavesdropping? Because that would be really interesting to see if you could learn big secrets about your neighbors. Like what if you let one of your neighbors move into your basement and then you find out they're actually like a criminal career track? Like what does that have an effect? Do you find out if somebody's like, I don't know, cheating on their exam? Or what if they sneak a pet in when you said no pets? See, again, I'm gonna have to see how the mechanics work out, but potentially there could be some interesting gameplay potential there, especially if you use the elbow grease of imagination, which is a prerequisite for playing Sims all the way back from Sims 2 to now. Sims 1, I was still building my imagination, but I'm sure it worked then too. But I'm pretty excited to see there's a lot of new dishes that I think a lot of people will recognize. Tofu pad thai actually had me quite excited. And I'm gonna have to see what it's like when the gallery has access to smacking down those fully customizable mini unit dwellings. Like, that could be quite interesting too. Could you do a whole new variant on the like asylum challenge, except maybe make it also more PC, because it's always bugged me a little bit? Because yeah, there's quite a bit that I'm gonna have to see how it functions with the potluck and pool parties to engage your community. And the responsibility, at first I felt kind of squicky about maybe being a property owner, but if you could really make it like a fun challenge because everything's going wrong all of the time, that could be interesting too. And what also makes me kind of happy is the fact that there are indeed going to be new aspirations, like becoming the nosiest of the seeker of secrets, a 5-star property owner, the local fount of Tamarani knowledge, or a discerning dweller, the best neighbor and tenant ever. Not exactly my life aspiration to be the best renter in the world, but my next door neighbor is amazing. She decorates like the entire apartment building we're in for every holiday, and hosts parties all the time, so maybe she counts. But there's 5 new traits: nosy, generous, cringe, child of the village, and an elder specific trait called wise, as wisdom comes with age. I think that's quite interesting, though I'm a little worried about cringe for some reason. And child of the village, I'm also interested in like knowing a little bit more about, and generous. And I mean, we'll see. We'll see. But I want to reiterate, the most important part of this entire thing is the mushroom death. Don't be fooled. Be a fungi. Be fun, my guys. And I will have to join you and see what happens when we unleash the mushroom army. Until next time, my friends, stay curious. Oh, that just looks so cool.